19th of July, Rabbi Furst, Pierke, Avos. Morning, Mayor.
Good morning again to all. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here with Samanafsha here in Shlin Care Zoom. This is our first share in the morning. We're learning about we're in the middle of the 3 weeks now, so it's appropriate that we continue on our learning of so we were learning our first slicha that we said on the tinus of the fast of Nitzayin B'Tammuz, and we're in the middle of it, and we'll continue with Hashem. That I think remember where it is located in Yisidurim. My particular copy, it's in page 703. We're actually now on page 705 in mine, but according to you,
One second.
Your Maksud, not your Maksud, but your Siddur has, you should be able to locate it there.
What page was it again?
Well, it's Roy. Do you know what page you have the same edition? My editions are a bit different, so
I think it's 864 or something like that. 864.
We were on 862 the other day.
Oh, good.
Right.
Yeah, 862. Thank you.
Okay. So we had just come to the Zvachim Korbanos. Okay, right. So we just come to the key B'Shiva Asur B'Tammuz Batel Ola. If you noticed again, there's a refrain in the way that the Slicha is written. There's a certain refrain, and each refrain begins with the words Ki B'Shiva Asur B'Tammuz. Right since on the 17th of Tammuz, and the first one is Nishbar Luchos. The Luchos were broken. The second refrain is Ki B'Shiva Asur B'Tammuz Nisra Torah. The Torah was burnt, and the third refrain was Ahmed Selam Behechel. There was an idol put up in the Heichel, the sanctuary of the Beis Hamikdash, and then the fifth refrain is Habaka Ha'ir, the city was breached, the walls of Yerushalayim were breached, and also then the next one is Batal HaTamid, the sacrifice of the Tamid morning and the afternoon was now suspended, and then after that the stanza is the Batal Oila Zevach, the Oila Korbanos and the Zevach Korbanos were Batal, and then finally in general Batal, the last stanza we did was Batal Korbanos. Korbanos in general, sacrifices in general were suspended. So now that brings us to the next stanza. Soranu lefenechem meriv l'shonos. You have it there.
Maradnu. Yeah, I got it.
Good. Would you like to read? Anyone else would like to read besides Lou today, or anyone? Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, Lou. I guess if you want, you could read.
Okay, thank you. Maradnu l'shochein me onos lachein nis pazarnu b'chol pinos ne pach mecholeinu lekinor ki the Lakino, thank you. Ki v'shiv'a asar v'samuz batlu karbanos. Okay, so Maradnu, we rebelled against he who dwells in the above. Therefore, we were scattered to all the corners. transformed our dances were transformed into dirges when on the 17th of Tammuz, the sacrifices were canceled.
Now, if you notice, this stanza begins in a different way than all the previous stanzas. Right? If you take well, it reflects back according to what we said in the very first one. It says the very first line was right. Asanu l'cha yotze ruchos barov avonenu, right? Barov avonenu, because of the great amount of our transgressions, right? So up until the stanza we just read now, it really didn't place much blame on ourselves. We just basically mentioned the different things that were occurring to us. But here it says Maradnu, the Shochan Melvonos, that we were rebelled against he who is Shochan Ma'onos, he who dwells in the highest places in the heavens. All right. So that's something which is focusing these occurrences on us. These things, we shouldn't think that these were happenstance occurrences, that there were no causes to these things, that there were all these things were a result of our and this, as we say now, our rebellion. Right? Our rebellion was what caused all these things. It didn't simply happen without any reason. Okay, and the next stanza also reinforces this. Go ahead to the next one.
Okay. Sararnu lefanecha me riv le shonos lechain lamda le shonenu lomar kinos uzavnu beli lehi manos ki the Shiva Asar Visamuz Garmu Lanu Avonos. Okay, so Sararnu, we strayed before you through fighting, speech,
Meaning there was meaning we strayed through Meiriv Lishonos. That I'm not sure what the deeper meaning of this is, aside from simply the straight translation would be argumentative discussions or argumentative dialogue, right?
Right.
So what that's exactly referring to, I'm not sure. Okay, but that was that apparently through getting involved with this type of argumentative dialogues, whatever they were it's referring to. Again, I'm not sure. That led us to be strayed away. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we got involved with. I don't know. I'm not sure. Does anyone? Do you have any? No, we don't have any actual enforcement on this, do we?
Let's see. No, I don't have very much here on that. I don't have much commentary.
Once let me just quick. I want to just jump and see if I can get this safe for 1 second, please. Sorry. Right. Let's see if I was hoping to have something about it, didn't have it at least in that first volume. Okay, I'll have to try and take a look around and see if there's if we have any commentaries that explain what these things are specifically referring to. All right, let's continue in the meantime.
Okay, so we strayed before you through argumentative speech. Therefore, our tongues learned to recite lamentations. We were forsaken without being numbered. Because I mean, when on the 17th of Tammuz, our iniquities were caused by us. Garmu is the cause, right?
Garmu lanu avonos, right? Ki v'shivas asa b'tamas garmu lanu avonos. That these, all these different consequences were a result of our sins. Result of our sins.
But interesting, Garmu, isn't that the word that means indirect?
Something which is garam is a cause, whether it's direct or indirect.
Well, isn't that what we say? If we say it's a grama, it means that it's indirect, and therefore he's not chayav.
Right. So the grama is right. But again, grama is in that context in terms of halacha. That's something which is something causes something else to happen, right? So, but sometimes it can be more direct than others. But eventually, you do discover the actual cause.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's still attributed to it. It may be convoluted sometimes, more or less, but it's attributed to this particular cause. For example, says the Gemara in Gittin that the Maisa there, Kamsa bar Kamsa, right? Kamsa bar Kamsa. So the Gemara makes a statement that the blame for the burning of the Beis Hamikdash and the exile, that the Gemara places the blame on the Gadol Hador, that Zechariah ben of Kulois, Gemara in Gittin, right? That Zechariah ben of Kulois, he said that they shouldn't kill Bar Kamsa, the one who went to inform upon the Jews, right? And so on that, the Gemara says, "Am Rabbi Yochanan al zeh avenusanu soy shel Zechariah," because of the humility of Zechariah, the house of the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. Sarfa Eschalenu, the sanctuaries were burnt. And we sent it to Golos amongst the Gorim, and so that was all because he didn't allow them to kill Bar Kamsa. Bar Kamsa was going to inform upon the Jews, so the Chachamim wanted to kill him. He had a din of a right, a din of a person who's putting not only one person amongst the Jews in danger, but he's endangering all of Israel, and he was fit to be killed. But Zechariah said no, and so he was given the blame for the burning of the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, the burning of the Kodesh Kodashim, and sending Israel into Golos, right? So he, in that way, was a Gorim. He was a cause for that. But there were many other things as well that were instrumental in letting those things happen. Right? So, as with anything, there's always many different causes for the same thing that happen. No one definitive cause.
Why do we say it was because of his humility?
Because he should have taken a stand. He should have realized the weighty position that he was in, and the fact that his opinion would be adhered to, and since he didn't take that into consideration, he made these statements which were heeded by the Chachamim. And he should have realized that he was in a position that his statements would have been heeded, and he should have realized the danger that this person was putting Klal Yisrael into, and the reasons were rightfully so that he should be killed. Right. Okay, I'm gonna have to see if we can find some type of parish on these secrets. So it continues on, right? Continues on, I believe.
Puzarnu beli mitzvos mitzo.
So Rav beli matzoi Ravka.
Ravcha Rivacha Lechain Rav Sa Banu Anachnu Tur Re'ei Nafshenu Ki Shacha V'Shiv'a Asar V'Samuz Hafach Lanu Le Sason Ula Simcha. Okay, so Pazarnu, we were scattered without finding relief. Therefore, our groaning was increased among us. O rock, see our soul that it is prostrate. Shacha. And the 17th of Tammuz transform it for us into joy and happiness.
Right. So since all these things were a cause of sadness and bemoaning, so our final prayer is that the day of the 17th of Tammuz should be transformed into a day of joy and happiness. Okay.
What is this word shacha, prostrate? See our soul that it's shacha. What is that referring to?
Well, it's from the same word, yishtachave, shin ches is a word which is a word you could say to be bowed or to be humbled. So right now, Shena Kisha, see that we're that we are. See, they nafshenu. See, they translate nafshenu as our soul, but it really, it means we. It means ourselves. I mean, people see the word soul and they think it's something which has to do with the neshama that's within themselves, but it's not so. Here it's nafshenu, it's talking about ourselves. See that we are shaka, we are humble. See that we are humble. That's basically what it means.
Kishinu oref the Rav Sa Banu Ason, Lechain Ni Tanu Lim Shisa V'Rif Shon Re'ei Hashem V'Chalatzenu Me Ason V'Shiv'a Asar V'Samuz Hafar Lanu L'Sason U'L'Simcha.
Simcha Soson.
Pardon?
The Simcha Soson. You read it backwards.
Oh, not according to my book.
Really? Okay.
What is this?
Okay, so we stiffened our necks, and therefore
No, it's we. I think we are stiff necked.
My English says we stiffened our necks.
Okay.
Therefore, the catastrophe is increased among us. Therefore, we were consigned to be trampled and mired in muck. See Hashem and extricate us from catastrophe. And the 17th of Tammuz, transform it for us into joy and happiness. I just noticed that it changed the refrain from ki the Shiva to the Shiva.
Right. It's going from past to future.
Right.
He's trying to. He's
Right.
changing the mode. Just like on Tisha B'Av, in the morning we're sad. In the afternoon we have hope for the future. He's saying the same thing in the Kina. In the,
So the ki is the past, and the
Yeah.
vav is the future.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Interesting. Okay. Weiter?
Very good.
She'enu shochein ruma v'kabetz nefutsosenu mikatzvos adama tosif yadcha shenis liknos Uma, Uma, V'somar L'Tzion Kumar, V'shiv'a Asar B'samuz Hafach Lanu Liyom Yeshua V'nechama.
Lou, can you read that one again? Because my wording is really different than that. Read the Hebrew again.
The whole thing?
Just in the last case.
The last case, okay.
Sha'anu.
She'enu shochein ruma v'kabetz nefutsosenu mikatzvos adama tosif yadcha shenis liknos uma v'somar l'tzion kuma.
I go straight from mitzvos adama v'tomar l'tzion kuma. I miss there's that whole phrase in there that's missing. Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so turn to us, you who dwell on high, and gather our dispersed from the ends of the earth. May your hand again once more acquire the awestruck nation, and say to Zion, arise. And the 17th of Tammuz transform for us into a day of salvation and consolation.
Mhm.
Which phrase were you missing there, Eliezer Tzvi?
Right, I go from Adma, Admad to Tomar Litzion Kuma. The phrase about lifting up your hands. I'm
Right,
missing.
interesting. Okay. Sometimes like this, like you have in the Selihos that we say before Rosh Hashanah and between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, you have the Nusach Lita and you have the Nusach Poilin.
Right,
So it could be maybe there's also with the Selihos have a different Nusach as well.
sure.
Not sure. Could be.
Yeah.
Okay. So that brings us to the end of the first Selihos, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me see. I don't mind continue on if you like. We can continue on.
So I do Cal Melech or skip to the next.
Yeah, that we'll skip to that. That's the regular insertions that we have during all the different speakers that we say during the course of the year. I think the next one is Amorer Vechi. Yad Shalucha Be'i. Right?
Yep,
Kirachem, is that what you just said?
Amorer.
right after that. It's right after that.
Uh,
Elokeinu v'Elokei- which is Elokeinu. That's the start of the next Slicha.
Right.
oh, I see it. I'm a rare.
Right.
Correct.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I'm a rare the vechi mipnei yad shelucha be'i benaati besoch beso bevigdi behav'i. I'm not sure how far to go. I guess I'll translate now. I make myself bitter with weeping because of the hand that was stretched out in destruction. When I scorned inside his temple through my treachery and my robbery. Gach uvarach v'nasa eser v'ala lashvi'i dimanai hitzi ba chodesh harvi'i. Let's see. Gach, he left and fled and departed in 10 and ascended to the seventh. It's the seventh heaven, it says. He cut me down. He oppressed me. He set me ablaze in the 4th month. I have no idea what I just read.
This is a reference to that the Shekhinah was left, as the Gemara mentions, as the Gemara in Yuma mentions that the Shekhinah went stage by stage, level by level, further and further away from its dwelling place in the base of Migdash, and it went through 10 stages of deportation. So Gach, meaning the Shekhinah left, Mubarach, and fled, Vinasa, departed, Eser, in 10 different ways, 10 different stages. But Allah Shiva, and the Shiva that he went up to the in the Rakiyas there, the seventh Rakiya, the seventh heaven, went there to the highest place of its dwelling, right? The Divni, the Kitsani, his Kani, Mechodesh Ha-Revi'i. And this is like a reference to the Klal Yisrael and the Beis Hamikdash. The Mani cut me down, the Iksani, you distressed me, the Iksani, and it was set me a fire on the Kodesh HaRevi in the fourth month.
What's the fourth month referring to?
Fourth month, the month of Tammuz is the fourth month of the year. We begin counting the months in the month of Nisan. Nisan is number 1, then the Iyar is number 2, Sivan is number 3, and Tammuz is the fourth month of the year.
Gotcha.
That's the fourth month.
Okay. And the seventh heaven is referring to the fact that that's about as far as Hashem can get away from us.
Right.
Okay. Hevi moed bim le aso lish bor ba chure gi muz. He brought about the appointed time in its fullness to break the youths who were blossoming. What does that mean?
So when the time was ripe, he brought destruction to those young ones who were gimus, who were just at the beginning stage of their development. Again, I'm not sure what this is really a reference to. I really need it's not simply enough to have a translation, because it's very
Esoteric.
general. Well, I'm not sure. It's not so much esoteric, but it's very general. I mean, what's being I don't have any specific references to what it's referring to.
It's very allegorical. It really isn't.
Yeah. Very good. It's very allegorical. What it's supposed to be pointing into specifically meaning, it's not speaking directly what it's talking about, and that's why I'll have to see if I can't find. They have here in the yeshiva various different stroim on the davening. Maybe they have an explanation of these Selihos. I hope so. Okay.
V'riba vo pa'amayim be'mismus u mizmuz. Okay, so he multiplied in it twice, crippling and crushing.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, what that's referring to, I'm not really sure.
Right. Or even contextually, is it referring to the previous line, or is it a new line?
Right.
Zevulo kishar sha'a nanos mevakos es ha-tamuz. Okay, so Zavulo, it says when in his temple.
Okay. Okay.
He saw complacent women weeping over Tammuz. He vani azai be yerach Tammuz. He found me guilty and made me an enemy then in the month of Tammuz.
Right.
That's funny
But-
to say he made me an enemy. You'd think it would be the other way around. I made him an enemy.
Well,
But it says
Well-
he condemned me
okay. Well, that's
and opposed me.
Chayavani, from here. He was indicted. He became indicted. He became guilty.
Right.
Chayavani,
That's not the word I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on the next word. Ivani, my English says, and made me an enemy.
right. Could be, because we were responsible for the destruction. Because we through our actions brought about the ability of the basic English to be destroyed. So we
But shouldn't it be that we are the ones that are making Hashem an enemy, Kiviyachol, not the other way around.
No, it's not. No, Hashem's never our enemy. We're enemies to Hashem, but Hashem is always our Avinu Malkeinu. He's always Avinu Malkeinu. He doesn't. Hashem is unchanging. Right? You may have to do certain things which are harsh to chastise us or to punish us because of our actions, but He's always in the position of being Avinu Malkeinu. We, however, we go off the derech, we stray, we are rebellious. We make ourselves enemies to Hashem. Right? That's what.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So is my English wrong? Ivani, the ni ending, doesn't that mean mine, my, to me?
Me. It made me. I was made in. I was found guilty. I was therefore I was an enemy. I was found guilty and declared to be an enemy.
And declared to be an enemy. Okay. Okay.
I was found guilty and declared to be an enemy. That's what Rabbi Chanan Wasserman said. He said that the generations before the Holocaust, they made war on Hashem, so Hashem made war on them. So that we became enemies to Hashem through our rebellion and everything else. We become enemies to Hashem, and then Hashem, the only thing he can do is destroy those enemies.
Right. Okay. So he made me an enemy in that sense. But I declared war on him, so he responded.
Yes, I think so.
Tamnu fachim chamisha b'mikra tilaos mishulachos. Okay, so Tamnu, they placed 5 traps proclaiming calamities are being dispatched. Are being dispatched.
What is this for? What's this supposed to mean? Kamnu Hakim Kamisha B'Mikra Shalos Luchos. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I have a little commentary here that says it's the enemies.
Yeah,
The enemies laid the traps.
right.
I guess the enemies were proclaiming the calamities.
Um,
Not sure.
I'm not even sure what it means. B'mikra Talos Mushlachos. I would say the way I would read it here, Tamu Pachim Chamisha, they conceal these five. They conceal these five. Again, what these five traps? I don't know what these five traps are. Here's to see the Gemara. I have a footnote to see the Gemara in kindness. Vav Amid Aleph.
Right, I have that reference.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's a. 1 second. I have to. Let me see at the Gemara. Hold on. I don't know. I'm not sure how a person can get away with just reading this and have it make any sense to him. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, exactly. That's my problem. I find it very difficult to put any meaning to this. That's why I said I usually bring a Holocaust book and read that instead.
It's the same thing with Tisha B'Av. It's why people spend, the whole day explaining what the keynotes are all about because you can't read them and understand it.
Right. Yeah, quite often at the shul that I went to in America, that they would do that. They would have like a little shiur.
Right.
They would discuss the meanings and try and bring it a little bit more into an understanding.
Right. All right. So the Gemara there in Tainus is referring to the five things which happened to us on Shiva Asar B'Tammuz. There are the five things which we mentioned, right? We saw in the Mishnah Berurah. We saw early in the first week it mentioned the five different things that happened. The Luchos were broken, the Torah was burned, right? There was idol, and so what does it mean here? Tamnu Pachim Chamisha B'Mikra Talos Ushlachos. I'm not sure that it could be the way the mikra. See, the mikra could be understood as being by like without cause, by happenstance, right? So Tanu, they hid. Meaning, this is a reference to what our enemies are doing. They concealed these five things by saying that they were without any cause, that these calamities occurred.
Right.
Okay. Well, I don't want to continue. We start time limit now. You know what? Make sure you put a note where we left off, so we don't have to spend time trying to find out where we pick up from it tomorrow. But leave a note where we're leaving off, and we'll continue this tomorrow. In the meantime, hopefully, I'll have a little bit of time today. I can see if I can't find some type of a perush on these very cryptic statements, which they definitely deserve deserve understanding of what they mean more specifically than what they're just allegorically telling us. So we'll try our best. We'll see what we can do further with it tomorrow, Mr. Chef. In the
right.
meantime,
Thank you very
everybody
much.
should have a good afternoon. Hope to see you tomorrow. And we'll be taking a short break. We'll take a short break and continue with the Mr. Shaburisha shortly, okay?